Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today we're talking about what makes me very happy and maybe occasionally a little bit frustrating because, as we all know, J.R.R. Tolkien likes to have 200,000 names for the same person. But today it is the great, the brilliant Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien, who we love and admire, unlike other ASS holes out there that don't. We love him here. We love him. Yes, we do, Precious.
I
And
think I think she means CUNTS.
uh,
But then again, I could be wrong.
this ain't Australia, bro.
the comments made by Steve Kenobi may not necessarily reflect the.
It's a cultural thing because that's not a bad word at all where I come from. Oh, it's bad, but it's not as bad as in the US.
Well, on that happy note, let's welcome our guests. We have, as always, Princess Rennie.
Hey, Teresa. Hey, Steve. It's nice to be back with you guys talking about stuff that we love, which is reading and J.R.R. Tolkien. So can't wait to delve into these two chapters. The next one's going to be a doozy, but these are pretty good ones leading up into it. So
Yay.
Very exciting.
And all the way from the future, it is the one, the only, the Viking himself, Steve Kenobi.
Hello there.
Hello there. What's the future like? Can you give us some words? Maybe?
It's been gray and really cold winds today because the wind was coming in from the north when I was out hiking this morning. So yeah, It felt like winter, but I did it anyway.
Yay! All right. So
my hatred for certain people kept me warm.
And everyone out there is paranoid. Is he talking about me? He's talking about me, isn't he?
Well, if you have to ask. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I think not everyone is up in your latitude, except, of course, our resident polar bear, Snortopupus Kubur. Thank you. Good to see you here. But I do take hope from what you said, because if there's bad weather, that means that there's weather and the planet still exists and we are not doomed. So you got to take your...
Have you seen The Day After Tomorrow? Because they had bad weather.
You know what? I shouldn't have even said anything. I should have left it that the planet was okay. All right. Oh boy. Well, let's welcome some of our guests. As we've already welcomed our resident polar bear from his iceberg up there in the North Atlantic. We have Snortopupus Kubur. We have Jacob Ironside. Good morning, and everyone's saying good morning to each other. Yay! Somebody's snuffling. Why are you snuffling? Okay, I hope you're okay. Maybe it's because it's cold up there in your iceberg. Snortopupus Kubur says, if a seal so much as shows a whisker, I'm slinging it out of the ice hole and right into the stream. What the?
I know. You know how people used to hunt seals.
Yeah.
I have a joke about that.
Okay, go ahead. Fine.
It's really bad.
Okay, then. I mean, is it the kind of thing that's going to instantly cause me to be canceled and have my life destroyed?
Maybe.
Okay, then.
I'll type it in the private chat.
Okay. Oh gosh darn it. Jacob Ironside says I'll keep my seal club ready. Oh no. Oh look, I'm saying hello to people. Why hello to myself? It is Ryan Legion Games 2076. Hello. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Good to see you here. Please give me a like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. Everyone coming in and all you lurkers out there. It's Phil TMNT Thank you. J2 Gunter, thank you. Let's see. A lot of people saying hi. We like each other here at Miss Martin Muses. We actually do. We don't pretend. We really mean it. And Smyrna Poopa says, are you referring to the naughty people at Amazon or certain authors who think they're in the same league with Tolkien? Both and all. Hello, it is a tad that shouldn't be. The tad that shouldn't be afternoon. Hello, welcome to Mr. Martin Muses. Always good to see you here. Okay, Steve, there's no way in hell I would say that live. I just read it. Yes, he's right. He's right. It was terrible. It was horrible.
Well, Rennie liked it.
I said it was funny, but wrong AF.
Let me this way. Stig's joke was on such a level that the joke about clubbing seals was actually tame.
Yes. That's a good way to say it.
Poor baby seals. What have they done? Now seagulls might have it coming, but baby seals haven't done anything to anyone.
Hey, I saved a baby seal once.
Really?
Yes. It had drifted ashore and it was caught in some, net leftovers.
Oh.
And I was climbing a little tiny cliff thing and it was biting towards my face. I was like, oh, look, a seal. And it was stuck. So me and a friend took 2 buckets and we put one at the front end of the seal and one at the back so it wouldn't move and bite. And we took away the net stuff. And then we carried him down to the surf and let him swim.
Who says Stig's a jerk? You're a softie.
No. And then Snortopoopas probably ate him. But
yeah, Snortopoopas was hungry, so
yeah. See, Stig, you play a cynic with all your hatred, but now we know you're a little baby seal saver.
No, I never said I hated seals.
That's true. You were hating. Oh yeah, you just said you were just hating on your walk.
Yeah. I was hating people, not seals. I don't hike in the hills hating seals. That's weird.
You never know.
Yeah. No, you should change your profile to Stig the baby seal saver.
No.
Stig saves seals.
Yeah, hashtag.
Yeah. Seal of approval.
Speaking of which, yeah, Snortopoopas comes in with a pun. Did that seal of disapproval complain about Stig's joke? Well, now that you know he saved a baby seal, aren't you ashamed of yourself? Isn't there an overpopulation of seals? There might be.
Yeah, there's one too many. And it's my fault.
Aww. I saw this. I don't know if I showed this to you guys, but I saw this meme and I'll send it to you. But where, you see the inside of a penguin's mouth. And I was like, this can't be real, right? So I Googled it and it was legit. And I'm like, that's really terrifying. I don't ever want to come in contact with a penguin now. So they look so cute.
We have a penguin that's an officer in our army.
How's that possible?
He got promoted. I'm not even kidding. You can Google it.
A seal?
No, a penguin.
A penguin. Okay.
A seal would be in the Navy, wouldn't he?
Okay.
But yeah, we have a penguin. It's a brigadier or something.
Oh, and that's kind of a Doctor Who reference for those of you that like old Doctor Who or classic.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Stig kisses seals. Hashtag. You've completely ruined your reputation. Yeah. How did we go from Stig saves seals to Stig kisses seals?
I don't know what Snortopoopas is thinking.
Snortopoopas Kuber says only bipolar bears hunt penguins.
Wow, I don't know what. Wow,
Bruce McFadden. Oh boy.
Actually, I don't think they hunt penguins because there's no polar bears on the South Pole. And the South Pole is where the penguins are.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I thought there were some polar bears down there, but I could be
Maybe,
wrong.
maybe.
In like Antarctica or whatever.
Yeah, well, but maybe that's why he said bipolar. Yeah, but you know how I do. I'm sorry, Steve. I do give you a hard time. I'm trying to think of something to give Rennie a hard time about, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm not as good at that because Rennie's so nice.
I've never given her a hard time either.
In the
Right.
in the word of the day,
I was gonna say only like,
every
a
day.
few times a week. Which, you guys know I can take a joke. I don't get offended by anything like that. So
No, neither do I. But I mean, I guess. See, we don't live around penguins and seals. We live around snakes. So
You're actually
and
close.
deer.
You're actually closer to the penguins than I am.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Okay. Jacob Ironside said, "There's no curse in elvish interest or the tongues of men for this treachery to Amazon." Yeah.
Oh! I can think of a lot of words for it, but I'm not going to say them live.
He's already gotten me in trouble. Okay, hi Boost Smith Garden. Hello everyone that's here. All right. Well, we are actually here not just to talk about baby seals and the heroics of Steve. That I've never saved a baby seal. I'm jealous. I can't ever say that. I don't think I've even saved anything. Unless you count my cats, they're rescue cats, but I think but that's
No,
easy.
you probably saved money. I don't do that.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to get to my stupid chapter, but I've lost my place.
So you didn't even save that.
Oh, here we go. No mercy. No mercy. Here it comes. Here it comes. All right. So we I don't even remember what. Okay, of the Silmarillions. Yeah, that's where we were. Of the Silmarillions and the unrest of the Noldor. We are reading 2 chapters today. Because holy crap, is chapter 9, as Rennie has said, chapter 9 is a doozy. Chapter 9 is a doozy. Okay, we just got a few more comments, and then we're going to go on to that chapter. Snortpoop says, right, onto elves, the other white meat. JT Gunter, a seal could not save Batman. I'm not sure I understand that reference. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Don't answer that. Okay, Jacob Ironside, I get baby copperheads on my porch.
Oh.
Yeah. I actually once had a baby snake in the swimming pool. I was swimming and suddenly I had a visitor and I grew wings and flew because I have no idea how I ended up outside of that pool, but I moved fastest I think I've ever moved in my entire life.
Never underestimate the power of adrenaline, man.
I know. It was like I was in the deep end too, so I
Dang.
so I pole vaulted out of there. I don't know because I know I do remember. I kind of remember. I didn't completely lose it. I actually took my hand and like as a prop, like on the side of the sidewalk thing, and vaulted myself out of the
Like I didn't know I could jump that high or swim that fast or run that fast.
I haven't jumped that high since I did high jump back in high school. Okay, and we're also getting gators and copperheads. All right. Damn it, this chapter is so friggin' long to type the chapter of the Silmarils and the unrest of the Noldor. J.R. Tolkien, I love you, but man, these chapters are long. Okay, let me see. So I'm glad that we finally are getting to the Silmarils in the Silmarillion.
Right? It's so weird, right? It's basically the inspiration for the title of the book, but you feel like you don't really have them as a good basis until like, a little bit further in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting.
I'm just going to say it. Tolkien peaked with Lord of the Rings.
He did.
Yeah.
But but it's nice to have background on some stuff and go, oh, okay, well, this is interesting. Or, this is what happened with Galadriel before, before all the stuff that we know in Lord of the Rings. Or,
Yeah.
these are the, like, you know, what's their name? Thingol and Melian are like basically the start of the Sindarin elves, which is kind of cool. So that's where Elrond comes from. I don't know. It's just kind of cool to see the backgrounds. But yeah, it's a tough read.
Yeah. Though I always want to be fair to Tolkien is that while he had this work, he never approved the final draft because he was dead.
Yeah.
So, we still don't know that if when it was about to go to the publishers, if he might have said, oh, feck this, I'm going to take 4 of these names away from the 20 names for this character. We just don't know.
Yeah, you're so right.
Okay.
So he didn't finish his work like George Martin did.
Well,
but what's Martin's excuse?
Yeah, what's his excuse? He's not dead. And not only that, Tolkien at least left his work. George Martin's such a douchebag. He said he's not going to let anyone finish it. So he can, so screw him.
And it's not like Tolkien didn't try. Martin's just too busy, like, oh, I'd rather work on a TV project or whatever,
Yeah, I'd rather do everything.
If you think about it, though, The Lord of the Rings is one book.
Yeah.
Tolkien spent longer on that book than George Martin has spent on the book 5, which is going to be longer.
True.
Than The Lord of the Rings.
But here's the thing: he hasn't actually been working on it. He's even admitted.
No, he's driving a train. He's driving a train and going 2-2 and whatever.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So here, let's get to the Silmarillions, which I think are pretty badass. I mean, I like this because we're getting actual more plot and less lore, if that makes sense. Like, I love the lore, don't get me wrong, but here we go. This is from a summary, and if I move into Tolkien's actual chapter, I will. Theanor created the Silmarils, holy gems that contained the light of the 2 trees of Valinor. The gems were radiant in and of themselves, producing their own light, and they were blessed in such a way that evil creatures would be burned by touching them. That's so cool. All who saw them loved the Silmarils. Mandos foretold that they shall be pivotal to the fate of Arda. So let's check out these Silmarils. They're radiant. Yay! They're from the light of the 2 trees of Valinor, which, are all holy and all that kind of stuff. They are blessed in such a way that evil creatures will be burned if they go near them. So they can't get the precious. It will burn them. It's like holy water for the devil. Continuing, Melkor observed them as well, of course, because he's a douche. And he soon desired the Silmarils for himself. He hid his true intentions and started to spread lies among the Noldor.
That's actually something I thought was a bit odd. Oh. The guy who likes to spread darkness everywhere wants the glowing stones.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't know if it's because of any reason other than like, well, I want that, or how come I couldn't make that, or whatever. I think he's just a very envious person, and he just wants, oh, I heard those were really cool. I want them now,
Yeah, I actually thought it was a bit like a precursor to how everyone wants the ring.
Yeah, and you could be right. That's like his version of the precious, so to speak.
Yeah, it's greed and power.
Yeah, that he definitely is coveting it. But also, does he really hate the light? Or is he jealous that he's not allowed to hang around the cool kids anymore?
Well, yeah, and you could be right, because he kind of, banished himself, so to speak. And it's like, well, I kind of wish I could have access to this. And, the trees are really pretty. I wish I could look at them, but, nobody likes me. It's not that they don't like you. It's just that, you bring such horrible things that nobody wants you around. That's your own fault. So he's very envious because he wants all the stuff that the Valar have, or but at the same time, or all the pretty things that they have access to, but at the same time, he keeps ostracizing himself by being a douche.
Yeah, it's like he wants clout on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, why do you do this to me, Steve?
Bazinga.
You hate what you love.
But I think it is interesting that when you talked about the stones were blessed, I think it was Varda, Manway's wife, that blessed them and hallowed them, and put that kind of, not a curse, but just put that power over them, and if anything evil touches them or with bad intent touches them, they get burned. So that was a really cool feature to add to such a cool item.
It's an awesome defense mechanism in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here. Varda hallowed the Silmarils, and thereafter no mortal flesh, nor hands unclean, nor anything of evil might touch them. But it was scorched and withered. Yeah, you're good call. Yeah, I'm looking at the real text here. It's almost like if you were. I almost wanted to say something like Skyrim, but I don't know if they have that, where there's like a ward like around something, a booby trap. It's like spiritual booby trap. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like that.
It's like the acid blood in the Aliens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the words that are actually in the text, I'm moving over to the text here. Melkor lusted. He didn't just want them, he lusted for the Silmarils. And the very memory of their radiance was a gnawing fire in his heart. And I'm not saying that he wants to sleep with them, but that lust is even like the same way if someone will lust for the literal object of their desire. That's how he felt, and that's a very, very powerful emotion, or I don't even know what you call it. And Melkor is such a dick. But on the other hand, is Melkor the bad guy, or are the stupid dumbasses who listen to him the bad guys? Really, who's worse?
That's the thing, and especially in this chapter, right? When he goes and whispers all the things that he whispers. Is it worse that he went around trying to corrupt some of the elves? Or is it worse that they actually listened to him and then caused a lot more strife than if they had just said, nah, this dude's full of crap?
Well, it did say that he was putting thoughts in their heads that kind of backed up thoughts they already had.
It's like he knew how to manipulate and play to their fears, or to their, like the doubts that they might have. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll play on this, I'll make it worse, and just really, really go for it.
Yeah,
because it does a little divide and conquer.
Yeah, exactly.
The insecurities of
yeah.
Of
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Yeah. And it says here, I'm in the summary, he hid his true intentions and started to spread lies among the Noldor. His first created discontent among them regarding their status in Aman, suggesting they were only second-class citizens and that their true power would be found back east in Middle-earth. He said also that the Valar...
Same tactic as the Democrats use.
Oh!
Damn it, Stig! See, this is why they want to change Tolkien's work. This is why they're wanting to change our classics. Because if you do that, then maybe you won't recognize the works of the enemy.
Yeah, that's so true.
In my humble opinion, like I'm beyond asking, why don't they just write their own story? They know they can write their own story. That's not their goal. Their goal is to destroy the old stories, because stories are very powerful.
I'll make it fit whatever narrative they want it to fit and be like, you know, it's all the same story, but just with a few twists and turns. And it's like, it's kind of like when you're, when you're baking something or cooking something, when you add too much of one ingredient or you add so many more ingredients, is that recipe really the same? No, it's not.
Nope. Yeah. And Potato Reverend, a little bit to answer your question here, if they are in heaven, why would they turn to the gods and follow Melkor? Well, remember though, they're not. They're still of lesser beings, and just like the angels, they can fall. That's why they're called fallen angels. And then I guess he's trying to make fun of Rennie. Okay, maybe you're better. I can't. I'm just not good at making fun of anybody. But I try. Yeah. Maybe he brainwashed like Rennie did, as she programmed him for evil. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Rennie, you say, don't be fooled by that smiling face.
That's right. I do have a sinister edge. No, just kidding.
Yeah. And then he also said, rather Melkor, not Potato Revan, he said that the Valar wished for them to be in Amon so that the still hidden race of men might replace them in Middle-earth. For Melkor lied and said that the Valar might control men easier than elves. So he's sowing envy. It's like, well, those men that aren't even as cool as you are, they're going to get Middle-earth.
Yeah, and
they're privileged.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's a tactic that a lot of people use, right? And this was written way back when, but it's like, well, I think this person's like, even at the job, right? Well, this person's going to get the promotion that you wanted. Or, between friends, well, this person likes you better than this person. It's a way to sow like discontent, among people. So, it's pretty manipulative, but at the same time, it's like, yikes.
Just tell the person that, the guy over there said you had fat ankles.
He was looking at your cankles and was like, damn. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, a thought just occurred to me. Elven privilege. Instead of white privilege, we got elven privilege.
Oh, dear. Yeah, pretty much.
Or men privilege. I don't know. Oh, Snortapoopa says not everyone can be sweet and innocent as my humble self. The tad that shouldn't be said Valinor is not in heaven. Yeah, and I also understand that these are not one-to-one allegories that Tolkien had, though there might be some that are applicable. Didn't Fëanor create the Silmarils because he couldn't get strands of hair from Galadriel?
No, I don't think it says that. But it may be in later chapters, but I don't recall reading that so far.
Maybe it's in the unfinished tales.
Oh, that's possible, or in the letters.
Yeah. Well, we do know for sure from that he wanted to capture the light of the trees, which that in itself was a folly, because you should, let it for the trees. Oh, people are questioning your dark side. Let me see. I think I got just a lot of people saying hello, and hello everyone that is coming in here to Miss Martin Muses. Yeah, but just the way that the whispering was done, and I like it. The fact that it says in the text that I'm looking at now, not the summary, that he had such a way of whispering at the Noldor and working on their envy in such a way that they didn't even know necessarily that it was him doing that, and it almost seemed like it was coming from themselves. He's like a worm tongue.
I was thinking Iago from Othello.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I'm feeling stupid. Steve comes in and makes himself smarter than all of us. Well, excellent analogy. We bring up Shakespeare here at Miss Martin Muses. Yes, we do. We have the best guests ever. But that is excellent. That is most excellent. as I frantically Google the character. But do you want to expand upon that, or just you're just saying it is an analogy?
Well, he's basically, well, Yago is almost, you could also argue that he's not a character. He's just the fear and doubt that's in people anyway. That's basically Othello's paranoia.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't read Othello in like years.
Yeah, I was about ready to say. Yeah, I'm more. I more read all like the Henry V ones, all the ones that have to do with the War of the Roses. But good call, good call. Okay, and this is back to the summary. Melkor's lies took root among the Noldor, who began to resent the Valar, see jealousy, and be suspicious of them. His lies were especially targeted at Fëanor. Dun dun dun.
Which is what exactly what Yago does, because he just says, "I hate the more," so he decides to make Othello his target. It's almost identical, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Except for, well, yeah, Melkor's is a little bit more severe because he causes a war, in my opinion. I feel like
Yeah.
it's his fault, but yeah, no, it's a good analogy though.
Okay. Yeah, and the tad that should me, he says that yes, it is in the Unfinished Tales. Okay, and
Okay.
Potato Revan is giving us Irish poetry apparently, and So's Division. Yes, yeah. But, damn, my brain is feeling like very intelligent right now. That's a great analogy, and maybe I should watch it again. Because Shakespeare actually is supposed to be watched. So,
and I'm pretty sure Tolkien knew Shakespeare very well.
Oh, hell!
I would be
yes.
surprised if he didn't.
Well, he taught all that stuff, though. Technically, he taught languages, didn't he? But still,
yeah,
he was a British professor. Of course, he did. Yeah, so we have Melkor's lies are taking root among. Oh, I said that. His lies were especially targeted at Fëanor, yes. In the process, making him guard the Silmarils greedily and forbid anyone outside the immediate family from seeing them. So we're talking about greed. We're talking about hoarding. So, and suspicion. And check this out. He also lied. He lied, I tell you, to Fingolfin and Finarfin, telling them that Fëanor will try to drive them away from Tyrion. So he's coming between family. I mean, we've seen that, of course, in The Lord of the Rings, but I've seen it with even people in real life. Like some chick will get some really nice diamond, earrings. I mean, people will lose their minds over pretty shiny things. See it with children when fucking Buzz Lightyear. Some kid comes in with a Buzz Lightyear for show and tell, and everyone loses their friggin' minds because they want to play with it, and he has a Buzz Lightyear and I don't. It's human nature.
Yeah.
So, and they also point out in the text that even though Melkor and all them are talking about this to the elves, that none of them really had a complete understanding of what exactly the plan was with the men, because it says with his own thought, and he was so engrossed in his own thought of the music, he paid small heed to the third theme of Iluvatar. So he even Melkor didn't even know the full story because he was so friggin' self-absorbed. But he was using a small truth to fan the hatred and greed. So, see, what else do they say about then Melkor? Oh, yeah, Melkor set new lies, and whispers came to Fëanor that they were plotting to usurp the leadership. Now, well, here's what I always wonder. Some dumbass says, your brother or your sister is coming to usurp your home. And then they all just get all paranoid instead of just saying, hey, bitch, what do you mean? This is my house. You know what I mean? Why don't they just go and talk to each other?
That's human nature, isn't it? Pretty much. Like, instead of confronting the source or confronting the actual issue. It just turns into whispers behind backs, and then treachery and all that stuff, when it could have been solved just by resolving it with that person.
Yeah. Right, there you go. Yeah, how many times? Fair warning, I'll just come and ask people, by the way.
Yeah.
So don't try to start a rumor with me, because I'll just go and I'll ask.
Yeah, same here. It's very frustrating. It's like, you know what? I'm not afraid of confrontation. Conflict resolution has been a big part of my career. So I'd rather just hash it out, because for me it solves itself 10 times faster rather than involving like 20 or 50 other people and then it just turning into a mess.
Yeah. 99.9% of the time, going to the source is a good thing, unless a person's a psychopath, and then you're just like, well,
it's like, oh, I don't want him to come and stab me.
Yeah. I don't want anyone to come and stab me with a fork or anything like that.
Yeah, anything crazy.
Yeah. And I think sometimes my profession comes out, just a heads up. I kind of know all of these answers, but the teacher in me comes out, it's like, what do you all think? What does this make you think about? I can't help it. It's part of me. But also, that's how I learn as well. And those are really good insights there, because don't we see it? I guess it'd be the equivalent of Melkor sliding into the different Noldor's DMs.
Oh, yeah, true.
And showing just portions of screenshots.
Yeah, and then making a hit piece video on them.
Yeah. And just like, showing what he feels is relevant, but not showing the whole story. Absolutely. Being like, oh, see what this person said? Oh my gosh. Or like putting them on blast. And yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We relate too much. Sorry.
That's a good reference. I like that.
So the theme of this story is Twitter and YouTube is evil. And it corrupts people, absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I recently deactivated my Facebook. My Messenger still works, but man, like between fighting and, other stuff going on with people, like it has nothing really to do with me. It's just like, I don't want to see it, or, I'm just like, I don't need Facebook right now.
Yeah,
I just use it for the messenger.
I was about ready to say, and it's very, it's evil. And, well, Twitter's an interesting place right now because of what's going on, and I'm enjoying it maybe a little bit too much.
Well, it has been interesting to see some of the stuff not being so censored lately, so that's been kind of nice. Yeah,
so there you go. And I guess that's what I was saying earlier. For the record, people usually learn the hard way when they slide into my DMs. I always say, why are you telling me? Why don't you tell this person that you're mad at him or her? It's like she has a DM too. Just tell her.
Do you know what I attract on Twitter is like creeps. So more than anything, because I try to be nice and I'll follow people back, then I'll get this message like, "Oh, hey, baby, can we talk more often?" I'm like, I don't even what I just refollowed you. What is this? So that's kind of where I'm a little weary on Twitter. I have gotten some weird things, kind of like what you said, but this stuff is
just for
awful.
the record, that wasn't me. Someone else.
I would think not.
I know. We should all say disclaimer.
This is no one in the audience or on the panel that I am speaking of. Just want to put out that disclaimer.
Yeah, I know, and I use rhetorical stuff too.
No, I'm definitely going to send her weird messages.
I was ready to say, get ready. Okay, I was about to say, everyone send her weird messages, but no, please don't. Yeah, but so I'm no fun to gossip with, because I'll just say I'm not going to talk about a person unless they're here.
Yeah.
With, of course, some exceptions, because, sometimes, there are some exceptions, but in general, you can usually tell when someone's just trying to stir shit up. It is, because it just doesn't make no sense. Okay, oh gosh, that's great English. Mara would kill me. Melkor saw that these lies were smoldering, so the lies are smoldering, and that pride and anger were awake among the Noldor. And while they're at this moment, quote unquote, he spoke to them concerning weapons. So we're seeing now the connection that Tolkien is making with the conflict of men, because we do know that he was not obviously crazy about weapons of war, and more specifically when World War II was happening, he wrote about it extensively in his letters, including when the nuclear bomb went off. Like when everyone finally found out that the nuclear bomb existed, he was horrified. And so you're seeing that connection between when you have people that are angry, smoldering, full of pride, suspicious, then Melkor brought in the weapons. And the time they began the smithing of swords, axes, and spears. Shields also they made, displaying the tokens of many houses and kindreds that vied with one another. And these only were they wore abroad, and other weapons they did not speak, for each believed that he alone had received the warning. You see? To go back to the Twitter analogy, if someone's DMing it to you, they're DMing it to 5 other people. You're not the only one. And Feanor made a secret forge. Aha! Now Feanor's making a secret forge, of which... Fuck, I lost my place. A secret
Language.
Forge...
Hey, she ain't Captain America, okay?
Hey, and you're one to speak.
I haven't said anything bad at all.
Yet.
You spelled it.
Yeah, you spelled the C word, bro.
Yeah. And Feanor made a secret forge, of which not even Melkor was aware. So you see, now they're turning on Melkor. You see? They're just turning on each other. And made tall helms with plumes of red. Bitterly did Mata rue the day when he taught the husband of blah 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 all the lore of metal work. Thus, with lies and evil whisperings and false counsel, Melkor kindled the hearts of the Noldor to strife. And then Feanor now began to openly speak words of rebellion against the Valar, crying aloud that he would depart from Valinor back to the world without, and would deliver the Noldor from thraldom if they would follow him. So now we're getting into open rebellion. All because some dumbass was whispering in their ear and they believed him.
Yeah. Isn't that awful? Because that's like always the way it starts, right? You know, you just pick the right person, or they pick the right person who has doubts or no confidence, or, you know, just these little seeds of, like, you know, what ifs, and you play on that, and that's how you get someone. And, you know, he was smart in what he did, but dang.
Yeah.
Too bad they couldn't think for themselves and realize this dude's an asshole. You know,
yeah, exactly. And Snortopoopas comes in with words of wisdom, or maybe regret. No one ever asks to see photos of my paw.
Maybe it would give them pause.
Cake 44 says, seen one paw, seen them all. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I like it too. Potato Revan says, sounds like the Kaiser messaging Mexico and getting America into the war, ending German empires and the age of empires with that one false message. Yeah, there was a lot of people sitting around. Well, hello, Rogue Disney. That's the way wars happen. They all a bunch of friggin' backstabbers. Snortopoopas making sword, shield, helm, spears, axes, and those clever Tonka toys with working wheels and doors. Oh boy, sounds like the average Jim voter. Oh boy, I'm trying to get away from politics, relatively speaking, but I think that we can see this plain as day, and it's you've got to keep a clear head, because what is it? I think this is from scripture. if they say that the eye is the lamp of the body and of the soul, and if the lamp is dim, how great will the darkness be?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Melkor was pissed because the other Valar wouldn't give him any Pop-Tarts, so he decided to throw all the Mordor into the toaster. You know what? That would actually be a good reason to go to war. A good reason to go to war. Everyone loves Pop-Tarts, even though, gosh, I haven't had one in years.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've had a Pop Tart. I think because, I don't know, the Pop Tarts of recent years haven't been like the Pop Tarts of when I was like maybe a teenager or a kid, and just don't taste as good as they used to. And maybe it's I either grew out of it or they changed the ingredients, but I'm like, these are gross.
They quit putting crack cocaine in them. That's what happened.
Oh, well, no wonder.
Yeah, Elon
Gross.
Musk,
No.
please buy Pop-Tarts. Please buy Pop-Tarts. All right, I'm going back to the summary because Tolkien takes about 5,000 pages to say all this. The rest of the Noldor, including Finwë, his father, were troubled and called a council to determine what to do. Fingolfin went to Finwë, that's the brother, and asked his father to restrain Feanor's proud words. But Feanor himself arrived and forced... Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, sorry. I hope... I don't know if you heard that, but I had some cat interference there.
Yeah, it sounded like an angry cat.
Yeah, this time it was the girl. She tried to jump onto my keyboard and it didn't go well. If Fëanor cornered him, oh my gosh. Fingolfin went to Finwë and asked his father to restrain Fëanor's proud words, but Fëanor himself arrived and forced Fingolfin to leave. Well, as he exited the chamber, Fëanor cornered him and threatened him, saying if Fingolfin attempted to replace him in his father's love, Fëanor himself would kill him. Fingolfin left without responding. So I see these bros, like he's going out like, fine, screw y'all. And then Fëanor's like, hey man, you try to do this, I'm gonna kill you. And Fingolfin leaves like without responding, like fuck, with a middle finger. I don't know.
It's like two kids fighting over their parents' love. It's sad.
Yeah. Well, look at all the people that really don't grow up. Meanwhile, Manwë heard of this and called both brothers before him and told them they suck. No, I added that. There, the lies of Melkor were revealed. Finally, you see, someone finally said, hey, dudes, let's talk about this. Fëanor, however, was still held guilty for his action, and he was exiled for 12 years. Until his brother released him from exile, which Fingolfin promised to do. Fëanor and his followers departed and went to their stronghold at some place that's got a big long name. Meanwhile, Tolkis went to find Melkor and bring him to justice again, but he was unable to find him. No one knew where Melkor went. Suddenly, however, Melkor appeared before Fëanor at Faum. Oh, fuck these names. He tried to convince Fëanor that he was an ally, saying that he too was a Vala and thus knew the mind of the Valar. Fëanor briefly considered his words and wondered if he can trust Melkor. Really? Really? After all this? Really?
Yeah. Why would you even ask?
But at that moment, Melkor's desire overrode his reason. You see, evil people just can't help it. They always out themselves. And he suggested that the Silmarils would be safer with him than in Amon. Oops. Fëanor saw Melkor for what he was at the last and told him to go away. Yeah. So it's like, now that we're friends, give me the Silmarils. And it's like, wait a second. You don't come for my precious.
Yeah.
Tolkis and Omar then went to find Melkor, but wherever they looked, they could not find him. The Valar grew worried and constantly sought for any news of where Melkor went. A shadow of fear and doubt fell upon all the inhabitants of Valinor. So there you go. Everything is set up. But man, when I think of the Silmarils, I think like the One Ring, it can be symbolic of a lot of things. But for some reason, some of the Trojan War vibes, everyone fighting over a chick, this beautiful woman, and so if you think of the Silmaril, it's like a hot chick, Helen.
Oh
It's
no, no,
like-
no! Come on, it would be Gemma or a Pearl.
Oh,
Ruby, Ruby. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
dear.
I was when I said Helen, I'm talking about Helen of Troy, but I know what you're doing to me. And just when you have the dude, you're like, oh, by the way, I want to screw Helen, and it's like, what? So that's how he knew. Jacob Ironside says, I'm surrounded by a-holes. So, Spaceballs referencer. Sort of Poopus Kuber. Three hot chicks. Oh, you're right. It would be 3 hot chicks. I think this is about their little argument. F counter to Boosh McFadden. He was like, GTFO noob. That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Oh boy. So now we know what the Silmarils are of. Let me see. Yeah, the Valar, they're dreading and they do not what evil might yet come, and that's always a dangerous position to be in. That's a dangerous position to be in. Okay, so before we move on to of the darkening of Valinor, why is everything of, by the way? You got Steve, when looking at all this stuff, any last thoughts on
No,
hot chicks?
someone actually did something for the plot, so I'm happy. And he only had one name.
We have a plot. We have a plot. Sort of poopus board. Not that I know. I avoid hot chicks. They melt my ice. That is true. That is true. Your iceberg will be very dangerous. Yeah. Yeah. So, Princess Rennie, any further thoughts?
Yeah, one thing that I probably should have mentioned before, I want to say the Noldor were the elves that were closest to Aula, the smith of all the Valar. So I think it's really cool that you get to see that they actually do have quite a few skills, with Feanor being the most skilled. And then you also see that they, learn how to smith and make, really cool weapons and helms and all that stuff. So, it's kind of like not quite like close to the dwarves, but the closest sort of elf type to being a dwarf. So they have like, all the craftsmanship and all that stuff. So it's kind of a really cool thing to see, because you don't get to see elves really doing that in Middle Earth so much, except for, well, they didn't really show the reforging of the shards of Narsil in the books, but you don't really get to see all that stuff. They really focus more on like their one with nature and all this stuff. But it's kind of cool to see that they can actually make really awesome stuff. So I really like that aspect of the chapter. And then getting to see that no matter what you do with Melkor, he just cannot be rehabilitated.
Yeah. And the fact that they keep getting fooled by it. Oh,
Yeah.
This time he's changed. This time he's changed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, no, he's a nice guy now. Really, because he wasn't the last 20 times,
Exactly. Precisely. Hello, Keely Chow. Thank you for being here. I don't know if you saw, Steve, that Snortopoopas warned you that there will be a new name for himself soon. Melkor.
Yeah,
Mando.
Morgoth.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gosh, I almost said the wrong one. Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. So that's exactly it. And chat, you as always are on fire. Yeah, so we got Morgoth, but at least I guess it's easier to keep track of Morgoth and Melkor, maybe. Oh,
I think Morgoth sounds more menacing coming off the tongue than Melkor. I think Melkor doesn't sound as scary. Morgoth sounds more like this dude is evil, at least to me.
Yeah, Morgoth. You can just
Yeah.
hear, yeah,
Exactly.
you know what I mean. You can hear Ian
Yeah.
McKellen saying that, or Christopher Lee.
It should be a Morgoth.
Well, they did say his
Oh,
name in the Fellowship in the movie.
Yeah. Balrog of Morgoth.
oh, well. There you go. When in doubt, if you need someone to properly speak English, go to a Norwegian. You guys put
No, well, this is not English technically, but yeah, we do those R's.
yeah. Well, there you go. And we do not because we're barbarians, especially Americans. As Professor Henry Higgins says, Americans haven't spoke English in years.
Spoken.
Oh, someone can translate that out there for me.
Like whenever Fred Flintstone would do that, you know. Sounds kind of like that.
I know, but I had a family member that once, because I don't like, she used to always take the Lord's name in vain. I would say, quit it. And she said, I wouldn't do it if you wouldn't drive me to it. I got driven to speak the black tongue, or was it the black language of
Mordor.
Moldorf. With Rennie's southern accent, I'd love to hear a southern Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Well, we don't. Rennie doesn't have very strong accent.
Y'all get to Mordor.
I never say the word quote unquote y'all. I never. Yeah. I think more than anything, I still kind of have a Valley Girl accent sometimes, which is kind of annoying to the significant other. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's got it. I think Christy probably has the most southern accent of the lot, or Texan rather, of the lot of us. I mean, I don't even know what my accent is. I'm so fecked up because, I had Cork as a kid, and then I had Northern, and then I've been living in Texas. I don't even know. I'll let someone analyze me one day.
I've been accused of being from Scotland, England, Austria, Germany, and Australia so far.
So, that's weird.
Hell does someone think you're from Australia?
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense.
Because they're retarded?
Wow.
The views of Steve Kenobi do not necessarily...
Do you know, I was speaking to a guy that asked me if I was from the Midwest. And I'm like, no. I've never even... Because they said I spoke like somebody from like Minnesota or whatever. And I'm like, no, I've never been to Minnesota.
Yeah.
That was weird. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah. No, you got a new one. Someone we thought you were Japanese. There you are. Well, why Austria? I mean,
I don't know.
Okay, because Austria. I mean, okay. Oh, Shane Nolan says I heard the Australia one, Steve. Oh,
yeah. It's it's a while ago now.
Yeah. I must admit I do use y'all, but I did before I moved south, so I don't know what that means.
I don't know why, but I've never cared for that word, and I can't make myself say it. I still say you guys. I guess it's a West Coast thing, but I can't make myself say quote unquote y'all.
Yeah. Well, when I really get mad, I'll say the lot of ye. The lot of ye. And they'll be like, what the fuck did she just say? It's like, I know. Yeah. Oh, you say I'm pure American? Okay. Well, there you are. I still haven't managed the THs though.
The weird thing is I grew up around my Cajun cousins when I was younger. So whenever I get really upset or really angry, I sound like a Cajun. That's one thing that I noticed.
You speak French?
I do speak Cajun French. Mm-hmm. Or I did. I'm not so good at it anymore. But
Cajun French is wild.
It is.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on to the Darkening of Valinor. We're going to darken the Valinor or Valinor. Am I saying it right? Valinor. I said the Valinor because I messed up.
You
It's
meant the
not.
Valar, but you were thinking Valinor, and it just kind of mixed together.
Yeah. Do I? Oh, okay. All right, let's continue. Let's continue. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Do I still have Irish words? Yeah, it's definitely Irish curse words. Okay, the Valar. Sorry, the Valar. The Valar strengthened watch on the northern borders of Aman after Melkor fled, thinking he would go back to his old domain in the north of Middle Earth, where the ruins of Ultumno were. However, in truth, he went south to the dark region of Avathar to seek out his former minion, Ungoliant. You see, here we go. Here we go. We got Ungoliant. Yes, we do, precious. So,
She's awesome.
yeah, and she is the mama of
Shelob.
Shelob. Yes. And so here we go. A creature in the shape of a massive spider, Ungoliant both hated and desired the light of Amun, and so made her dwelling in Avathar. So again, they're all cut from the same cloth. They're all fierce jealous of each other. Melkor persuaded her into helping him take revenge against the Valar. He promised her whatever she wanted in exchange for her help, but he did not intend to fulfill the bargain. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, nothing.
Stupid demons all sitting there trying to deceive each other. It's like, yeah, I will just I'll just say I'll do this, and then I won't. I haven't they ever seen The Godfather?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole problem. If you team up with bad guys, they'll lie, they'll cheat, they won't care. They don't play by any rules.
Well, and then not only did they backstab you, but they wind up turning on each other. I mean, that's how evil people are. It's like, they stick together as long as it suits them, and then they wind up like fighting each other in the end. And it's like,
Yep.
this is why you're evil. You
Yep.
can't be trusted even with your closest friends.
Like, what could possibly go wrong? Hound 3000 needs some hug. Ungoliant is Melkor's minion. I always thought she was Melkor's partner in crime. Yes, and understand I am looking at the summary, but I think actually, yeah, she was kind of under him.
Yeah, but she kind of became her own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she decided to move away from him and then just kind of be like, yeah, I'm going to do this over here. You do that over there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and it's coming from a son. Yeah. Okay. Here's where it says from Tolkien's text. And yeah, she was one of the ones that Manwë. She was the one that Melkor that he corrupted to his service. So she was one of the. She was a Maiar, wasn't she? Or was she? The unseen came at last to the dark, that narrow land, blah, 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 blah. There, beneath the sheer walls of the mountain, the cold, dark sea, and thickest secret unknown, Ungoliant had made her abode. The Eldar knew not whence she came, but some have said that in ages long before she descended from the darkness that lies above all Arda, when Melkor first looked down with envy, and that in the beginning she was one of those he corrupted to his service. But she had disowned her master, because that's what happens, desiring to be mistress of her own lust, taking all things to herself to feed her emptiness.
Like Amber Heard.
Oh, yes, but did Ungoliant take a dump on somebody's bed and blame it on the dog?
Probably. That would be one big dump, though. You wouldn't even see the bed.
Oh, God. You'd be like, who's that sleeping? Oh, my God, it's a big turd.
Yeah, the darkening of the bed.
Yeah.
So gross.
Gosh, you heard it here first. So, I'm going to clip this, and then I'll put it and just put Amber Heard, and then I'll get the biggest video ever. I'll get 5,000 views.
Oh my gosh.
I'll put a picture of a big spider. You heard it here first.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, help
Oh
us out
dear.
here. Am I right that Ungoliant is one of those, the bad guy, like what's the nature of her being? If the chat can help out, or if anyone on
Like
panel.
what I got out of it, I don't feel like they directly told us, but it sounds like she was a Meyer
Yeah,
and
because
she
it's mentioned that she took the spider form and kept it.
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't think she was, a Valar or anyone quite that high, but I do feel like she was a Meyer that just yeah, decided to go away and take a different shape because it feels like Maiar and Valar can take different shapes. I don't think the elves can do that or anybody else unless they're Tom Bombadil, which we still don't know what he is. But yeah, that's what I got from it. But they don't directly say it, and that's what's frustrating.
Yeah. And I think he made it deliberately ambiguous because it's supposed to be like legends or tales that we know. But it was definitely of the similar power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Snortopoopas chimes in. I think that was covered in Unmentionable Tales, the unpublished sequel. Talking about the bet. Oh gosh. I have
Very
this
cute.
image. I wish I was an artist, or if I knew how to do those thumbnails. Anyone in the chat want to help me? How do those people make those thumbnails? You know, the ones I'm talking about where it'll show like Amber Heard, like with her mouth open looking mad, and it'll say Amber Heard in this big red letters. Amber Heard. Oh, here we go. Right here. This would be the title. Amber Heard got creamed in court this week. Um, from Shane Nolan, yeah. And oh yeah, he's in love with the psychiatrist. Well, there you are. Sonora Poopa says Ungoliant was probably a fallen Maya like the Balrogs. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I think, because it's a similar thing. Tad but shouldn't be says Ungoliant appears to be one of the Anor who Melkor corrupted when they were still. Yeah, okay, yeah. But yeah, I did confirm here in my notes that no, there is no actual answer. As you said, Rennie, that it sometimes it can be frustrating. Gosh, it makes me feel like I'm reading like Greek mythology. Not that
Well,
I've got anything against that.
you don't want to feel like you're reading too much into it or anything, but at the same time, it's like, well, this is the only thing that makes sense. So this is where my mind goes to, but it's hard to make assumptions, but, you just have to, I don't know, do your best to figure it out. So that's kind of where my brain went.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, everyone's telling me they could do it. Well, what's the software you do? I mean, maybe I could figure it out because. And everyone's saying evening mate. Oh, we have a Brit. We have someone else from the future, Mr. Brown. Oh, Mr. Brown Alliance. You missed. We were talking about things that were brown. And that's where my Amber Heard video is going to come from. But I know there is no connection. There is absolutely no connection. Yeah. All right. So I love Ungoliant though. I think that is a badass name for a bad character. Melkor persuaded her. Oh, wait, we already got that. Ungoliant spun her dark webs, creating a way for Melkor to climb to the top of the mountains on the southern border of Valinor. There, they both saw the light of the two trees using the.
Plot hole.
Okay.
Because Melkor, as we told earlier, could basically transform himself to clouds and stuff. So why the heck does he need to climb?
Maybe he's such a dumbass he forgot.
He can shapeshift. He can turn into an eagle and fly up.
Well, but in this chapter, it says he takes this form that he stays forever at. So maybe you can only shapeshift so much. And that was the last shapeshift he got, kind of like, well, what the old school Doctor Who, you could only like regenerate so many times.
No,
I really
think
don't
he
know.
just I think he just liked that final form and stuck with it. But
oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he wanted to manipulate her into thinking she had more power than she did. And it's like, oh, I can't make it. Can you help me? And I don't know. Only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Or it's a plot hole. What can I say? I didn't even think about that. right, so off they go onto the mountain. A festival. Wait, where the hell were it? Okay, they will suddenly light the trees, using the darkness of Ungoliant to hide from the sight of the Valar. Wait, the Valar. Sorry, they made their way across the plains towards the trees. Meanwhile, in Valinor, a festival for the gathering of first fruits and offering to Eru was being held. Oh, interesting. I think this is the first and only time we actually see like some sort of ritual, like a religious ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, that because they don't. Tolkien didn't like having that in his story, but yeah, they're actually like offering the first fruits, such as very common in all religions, especially in these kind of festivals, and then the ancient times where they would literally like offer things from the crops and all that. The guard of Valinor was relaxed compared to all other times. That's why you shouldn't party. Don't party, kids. That's what they learned in American Revolution when George Washington crossed the Delaware. He's going to come get you. The Valar were there. True story.
Yeah.
Partying after Christmas, along with the Vanyar and then, oh my gosh, these names, and the Noldor, who remained in Tirion and did not follow Feanor. However, of the Noldor who follow Feanor, only Feanor himself was present, and he came only at the command of Manwë. I hope I'm saying that right. Hoping to heal the feud between Feanor and Fingolfin, Manwë attempted to have them reconcile. Fingolfin released his brother from exile, but Feanor only half-heartedly returned the sentiment.
Oh,
Bunch of little brats. Oh boy. Before we continue, Shane says maybe he can't carry the Silmarils and the treasure as a cloud.
Yeah, but he could always change into a cloud so he doesn't have to climb, and then change back.
But can he? Okay, never. All right. But my brain's exploding.
Don't make me think
You're right.
in the morning.
I'm gonna have to take some aspirin after this. Okay. Potato Reverend says, "Gotta bounce. Thank you for being here. Have a lovely stream." But Rennie, it's not a stream till she cries. Oh my.
What?
I don't know, but apparently,
I don't understand.
I guess he wants you to cry.
Maybe cry a stream like a river? I don't
know. Apparently, Mr. Brown is saying that you can shapeshift. Well, that's good to know. Snortapoopa says, a later book that Christopher Tolkien published was Morgoth's Ring and discussed Arda being corrupted with Morgoth's spirit, like Sauron let a lot of himself enter the One Ring on a vaster scale. Oh, all right. Okay, so they're up on top of the mountain. Cloud or no cloud, they got up there. And they're partying and they're trying to be friends again. And Feanor is doing that fine, okay, but not really meaning it. At that moment, Melkor struck. He attacked both trees with his spear, breaking their bark and causing them to bleed sap. See, this was kind of sick. And then Ungoliant drank the sap of the trees and poisoned them, withering the trees and destroying their light. She also
so she literally sucked the wood.
Sucked the wood dry, so to speak.
Yeah. I'm sure that made Treebeard happy.
He wasn't in existence yet, though, I think, right? Or was he? I don't know.
He might have been.
Wow. I just can't even. I'm now reading from the text, not the summary. Right after, Melkor sprang upon the mound, and with his black spear he smote each tree to its course. This is a horrible act of blasphemy. It's almost like the trees aren't a god, but if it was a god, I mean, that's like, going up and just smashing it.
But they were divine trees and they gave the world light.
Yeah,
So yeah.
so very similar. So
Also, a spear is an odd weapon to use against a tree. You'd think you'd pick an axe, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the whole killing it. But yeah, you're right. A black spear. He smote, and to say that you smite the tree, that usually you don't think of that. Usually you smite a human.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
Um,
trees were probably a lot. Well, they're alive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's why the language Tolkien's using is, and smote each tree to its core, wounding them deep, and their sap poured forth as it were their blood. Yeah, there you go. Like you said, Sieg, it's alive and spilled upon the ground. So you can imagine that for the elves and all them hearing this, this is like a horrible act of blasphemy. And
Yeah.
and the and also for the Valar, rather. But Ungoliant sucked it up, and going to them then from tree to tree, she set her black beak to their wounds till they were drained. And the poison of death that was in her went into their tissues and withered them. Yes, Tolkien says it better than any summary. Root, branch, and leaf. And they died. And still she thirsted. And going to the wells of Varda, she drank them dry. She's drinking everyone dry. But Ungoliant belched forth black vapors as she drank, and swelled to a shape so vast and hideous that Melkor was afraid. Holy crap.
Yeah, because it sounds like as she's consuming all this stuff and she's like belching out this black mist or whatever, she's like growing bigger and more terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she's being fueled because those trees are powerful. So if
Yeah.
she consumes that essence, she's basically being, roided up.
Yeah. And the idea that
Yeah.
she's basically belching out like these foul odors and corruption and oh gosh, here.
Reminds me of that comic lady, Gail Simone.
Wait, what? She like what she writes is like the belching and burping of
Ungoliant?
I just picture her burping and belching a lot.
But I'll tell you what though, this idea that she was so big and swelled to a shape so vast. We're talking about spiders, so I'm like, no, thank you.
Oh yeah, no, stay away. No
Yeah,
spiders here.
but the fact that it made Melkor himself afraid. That's pretty. That's pretty intense. Well, Steve, here you go. Everyone's loving it. We've got wood analogies now. Mr. Brown Alliance. What was that about
Yeah,
sucking wood?
yeah, she sucked the wood, and I think she wanted the seed from the tree, and yeah, she did it all, and swallowed it all of it, consumed it, and belched some up.
You're saying she swallowed out of the wood?
It definitely did.
Well, okay, you know what? That was my fault. I put that up there because it was in the form of a question. Snortapoopas Gruber says, I learned so much about carpentry listening to this wood sucking and such.
Yeah, she sucked it all in, root and stem.
Jacob Ironside. So she pooped out smoke. Ugh. Bag that woman, Steve.
Yeah, I should get like a spider woman.
Well, there is a Spider Woman in there, and somewhere didn't they do that?
Oh, with like the
Spider.
multiverse kind of thing or Spider Verse, I think.
Yeah, when they're like, I don't know because I don't
Yeah, there's a
read.
spider woman. And yeah, it's like kind of like Batgirl, but it's Spider Woman.
Oh, well, there you are. Okay, Jacob Ironside says Morgoth had the ability to take other forms taken away from him by Iluvatar. Oh,
Yeah, I thought he got
Yeah,
limited for some reason. I
yeah,
just
but
couldn't
he could
remember.
he could still turn into clouds because that's in the it's in the previous chapter, I think, when they start, or actually maybe it's after this one, after
okay.
this event, because they start chasing him a bit
Yeah.
because they were looking for him, and he had turned into clouds, so they couldn't find him. So
Okay.
he still has that power.
Well, there you go. Tolkien, we're pointing the finger of judgment upon you. And he doesn't care. All right, and I'm continuing reading from the text that Tolkien wrote. No song or tale could contain all the grief and terror that then befell. So again, this was a horrible, horrible event. The light failed, but the darkness that followed was more than loss of light. In that hour was made a darkness that seemed not lack, but a thing with being of its own. For it was indeed made by malice out of light, and it had power to pierce the eye and to enter heart and mind and strangle the very will. So the same way the trees were like the light of creation, this is like the anti-creation. It's still, gosh, that's scary. And the terror that came upon them. And Varda looked down from some big long name that starts with a T and beheld the shadow soaring up in sudden towers of gloom. Valmar had foundered in a deep sea of night. Soon the holy mountain stood alone, an island in a world that was drowned. All songs ceased. Yay, Steeg, you got your wish.
Yeah, told you, Ungoliant is awesome.
She took the singing away.
Yeah. But of course, that's very fierce symbolic for what's going on in this story, because song is holy. It's a thing of creation. So when the singing ceases, that's bad. There was a silence in Valinor, and no sound could be heard, save only from afar there came on the wind through the pass of the mountains the wailing of the Teleri like a cold cry of gulls, for it blew chill from the east in that hour, and the vast shadows of the sea were rolled up against the walls of the shore. So we're talking apocalyptic kind of stuff. I
Yeah,
mean,
like the whole world just goes into darkness, but more than darkness, there's just sadness and malice and all that. Kind of like taken over by Dementors, so to speak. But
yeah.
yes.
And Munway from his high seat looked out, and his eyes alone pierced through the night until they saw a darkness beyond dark, which they could not penetrate. So, yeah, that's, you got some bad darkness when you have the darkness beyond dark. And then, and I think this is what you were referring to, Stieg, then the pursuit was begun, and the earth shook beneath the horses of the host of Rohirrim, and the fire that was stricken from the hooves of Nahar was the first light that returned to Valinor. So this is also kind of apocalyptic. It's like, here they come. The Valar are coming, and they are pissed. But so soon as any came up out of the cloud, but so soon as any came up with the cloud of Ungoliant, the riders of the Valar were blinded and dismayed, and they were scattered, and went they knew not whither, and the sound of the Valaroma faltered and failed, and the Tulkas was at one caught in a black net at night, and he stood powerless and beat the air in vain. But when the darkness had passed, it was too late. Melkor had gone whither he would, and his vengeance was achieved. Dun, dun, dun. So, Stieg, they're fucked.
Yeah, but I think it might have been in the previous chapter when they searched for him. After he did that thing with Feanor or whatever it was, he turns into a cloud.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Did I? Fuck! I just lost my place again. No. And his vengeance was achieved. Okay. Yeah. And they can't find him. Yeah. As they're trying to pursue him, but I think it tells you how vast and great a villain, a formidable foe he is, that he was not only able to achieve that, but just how, for lack of a better word, he has the high ground at this point.
Yeah.
And you would think the Valar would have someone guarding the tree.
Yeah.
Well, they were just too trusting, you know. That's my opinion. They just think, "Oh, everything's great, everything's perfect. We've created this lovely area and this lovely planet and it's just, you know, nothing can harm it, nothing can destroy it." And I think they underestimated the power of evil because wasn't it a couple chapters back where Manwë said like they said about Manwë, he didn't understand evil, so he couldn't understand that Melkor was as bad as he was, or that he was as sinister and as plotting and stuff. And I just think that they were maybe too naive about it as well. So I just don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, don't trust anyone.
No. Well, or that maybe, as you said, they just couldn't imagine such blasphemy.
Yeah.
But they also said that they were all too busy at the stupid party, too.
Well, that's one thing you need to learn. If you're going to have a big party, always have security. So,
exactly.
Just saying, learn that one the hard way. So,
yeah. But Steve, you're right. They should have at least left, I don't know, someone there to guard, to be around the trees. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, they were kind of insanely important.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's all pitch black, and Feanor is the only one with light bulbs.
Good analogy. So,
I like that. That's good.
So everything's set up. So in a way, even what Feanor did was kind of proud, envious, whatever, maybe not a good idea. If he hadn't done it, well, so now everyone wants those Silmarils and the light of the Silmarils, etc. And so this is where we are going to stop. And I told you, even though these chapters were short, it was still a lot happened in there. And I'm thinking I'm going to try to maybe do the next. Let's see. Because the next chapter, The Flight of the Noldor. Gosh, that sounds like a name of a movie. It reminds me of The Flight of the Navigator. On the
Yeah, it's similar.
Yeah, it's The Flight of the Noldor, of the Sun and Moon, of the Sindar, and of Sun and Moon. So let's see, those chapters 82. Do you want to try to do 3? Do you want to try to do of the Flight of the Noldor, of the Sindar, and of the Sun and Moon for next time?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that. We're talking 25 pages, I think, maybe. And we can always, I can always pace it too, so we won't do it. But this was really important. This was really important because the Silmarils are what this whole friggin' story's about. So, to not underestimate what we see. One thing that got my mind moving is in the letters of Tolkien. He always said, remember that Galadriel was really, really old. She was so old, she was even older than Shelob. And so this is where we actually do see it kind of literally, because we've had the birth of Galadriel by this point, and then Ungoliant comes, and at this point she has not had her children, which one of them will be Shelob. So there.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Oh, well, hello, Dead Men Walking. Oh, thank you, Jacob. We try to be civilized and to give you all a great stream, but part of this stream is as good as it is if it is good for you because of the chat. You guys are great and help contribute. etc., etc., etc. Well, thank you, said Soul Extraction. I showed up late, but just in time to say take care and have a good weekend. Everyone's saying hello, hello, and goodbye. See you later, Mr. Brown Alliance. All right. So, Steve, we talked a lot today and moved in different areas. Is there anything you want to say about these two chapters, or anything we've been talking about in the Silmarillion up to this point?
No, it's starting to pick up. We're kind of past the really tedious stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But yeah, it like I've said before, this is never going to be my favorite book,
Mm-hmm.
but I appreciate the work and the lore. You know,
Yes.
it's the execution that I don't care for that much.
Yeah. Understood. And Brenny.
Yes. So I will let you guys know. I don't know about for you, but for me, this time around, it's been a lot easier of a read, even though I am reading some chapters multiple times just to make sure that it stays fresh in my mind, that I don't get confused as to who's who and all that stuff or what's where. But it's a lot, I don't know, it's just making a lot more sense to me this time around, and I'm catching a lot of things that I didn't catch before. And I don't remember that much animosity between Feanor and his brothers, and it's all on Feanor's part. At least it seems like to me at this time. But so I'm paying attention to that and to the naivety of the Ainur, the Valar, which I didn't really catch the first time around because I'm like, this is so much information. It's so hard to catch. So this has actually been a lot better. The story is making a lot more sense to me than it did the last time around. So yeah, I really do appreciate this book a lot more than I did when I initially read it.
Good point. Yeah, and I think there's several reasons for it. Because I have had a similar feeling. We're taking it very slow and we're doing it together. As we were saying, as we're getting there, it's like if we don't understand what is going on, we have each other and the chat to help us through it. And I think that for me is also helping the enjoyment and taking it in small segments.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, good points all around. All right. Well, I just love this chapter, and I just loved Ungoliant. I loved it so much, but it was so evil though. I felt the horror of the idea of chopping down those trees. It was so, as I said, blasphemous. It's like, how could you?
Maybe that's adds to the blasphemy that Saruman did with the chopping down of trees.
Oh, good point.
That's a really good point. And also, in this book, they talk about how important like plant life was to Yavanna and how much she cared for the plants and how much she worried about, humans and elves and dwarves, killing all the flora in Middle Earth. So yeah, that's a really good point, Steve. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. And they do tell us that all of these aspects of it live on in especially the Ents, but also in all, and the revenge of the Ents upon such blasphemy when they go and take out Saruman and
And Ungoliant belches the stuff out, which is kind of what Isengard is doing too through the forges.
yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, the belching of the smoke coming out of the chimneys and all that.
Yeah, that it could be that reminded the Ents of something.
Well, and I know this is kind of a different sort of front, but also you have the darkening of the area between Mordor and Gondor as Mordor gets ready to strike in the quote unquote big war. Mm-hmm. And that comes from Saruman, who is a pupil of Melkor.
Yep.
You see, it's all connected. I love it. Absolutely love it.
And I meant Sauron instead of Saruman. Derp.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, I will forgive anybody who confuses any name in any of these stories.
I mean, I love it, but they could afford to be a little bit more different.
Mhm.
Like the names, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right though. No, well, yeah, but then he should have made them have different names. Saruman. I mean, gee whiz, and you have to sit and have note cards when you're watching a movie or read a book. Sometimes, my gosh. Okay, yeah, Shane Nolan. I think you are correct. Yeah, the Ents were already alive. Yes, and even before the elves, the Treebeard is the eldest living being on Earth. That is correct. That is correct. Yes. So Jacob Ironside says, so next week are chapters 9, 10, and 11. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So thank you for everyone that's also reading along with us. That's what makes it fun. And I plan to keep up to the schedule. Just, things happen. So I did have to cancel last week, but that is the plan. So before we sign out, I'll start with you, Rennie. Ladies first. Rennie, where can we find you?
Well, here on Saturdays for Tolkien streams as we can, and on Mr. Brown Alliance on Saturdays as well. Typically around 4 or 5 p.m. Central. If I can stomach it today, Ruin Johnson will be hosting The Rise of Skywalker. I got I got really sick last night, and if I feel the same way, I'm like not gonna be able to handle that and anger and
Who
depression at the same time.
who doesn't get sick from that movie?
Exactly. So I don't know if it's just because Brown enjoys torturing his friends or what, but yeah.
Yeah.
But Ruin Johnson is really funny and he's very nice. So, yeah.
Okay, then. And then, Stieg, where can we be finding you?
Morris channel on Wednesday probably
Mm-hmm.
for the Cringe
Cringe.
Factory, which is also sickening. Um, yeah, and here on Saturdays.
Oh.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, yay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And you can always, of course, find me here on Miss Smart Muses. Sorry, false alarm.
Next week I might be on Lady Greymaster's channel because we were talking about doing a top 5 underrated actor and top 5 underrated movies.
Ooh.
That's really cool.
That would be an amazing stream. Yeah. And if you weren't able to catch their movie stream, that was when was it? It was in the very early in the morning. Please go ahead and watch the rerun on Lady Gravemaster's channel.
Yeah, we were talking about Trading Places and High Road to China, which is a massively underrated movie.
Well,
I
there
love
you are.
Trading Places. I've never heard of the other one.
Get it watched. Gravy gave it a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Well, there you go. I remember hearing that and thinking, okay, I got to get this watched. It was Tom Selleck. So
Yeah.
back in the day. Yeah, High Road to China. Well, there we are. Well, you can find me here at Miss Martin Muses as always, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. The for sure schedule that I have coming up, I will be having my the Once Upon a Time Thursday night stream with Biggles Mets and My Nerdy Home. We will be talking about season 6. Of course, the book discussion here. I was not able to get the double pick done, but I've gone ahead and planned to move it to the 4th Monday of the month. So that is the plan when the double pick will be returning. Every now and then I might pop on here and there, though, to give you some musings. It just depends on how pissed off I am at the world. And right now, I'm not quite sure where I am, but I am very happy that everyone showed up. It is always just one of the highlights of my week, getting to talk about Tolkien and sharing our knowledge and getting through the books and the lore and all of that. If you have not read these, please go ahead and read them or find some other great retro fantasy to read. We all know what the garbage is out there. Let's talk about the awesome stuff that's out there. Go to Half Price Books, go to the library, get some old Forgotten Realms books, Dragonlance. I'm reading the Feist series right now, Raymond Feist books. Just good stuff out there. So celebrate what you love. And I think that's it. So have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain, if you are the guardian of like 2 trees that have the light of God in them that's lighting up the entire planet or wherever you live, get a friggin' guard.
Oh, and remember that the